So today we have two very important guests with us. We have Nandini, who's a clinical psychologist and also an assistant professor in one of the leading universities in India. And as a parent and an expert, we also have Mr. Harpreet Sachdeva, who would help us decoding the issues that the teens and the youth are facing these days. So welcome to the show. And since we're touching a topic which is really important to every parent, every home and every teen, so I would like to ask you first. What do you think are the signs when, as a parent, you start feeling that this is not just a bad day or something, but it's a problem that needs to be addressed, and to address this problem, you need to go outside the parental sphere and you need to consult somebody for your child. What are the symptoms or things that you see in the family that leads a parent to consult a therapist or an expert?
So the first thing you'll notice is an abrupt change in your child's behavior, his or her eating patterns, his or her sleeping patterns, and the way they communicate to you, and how much time you spend with you, the quality time when I talk of. When you see your kid keeping himself away from the family, locking himself behind his rooms, not going out, not chatting with friends, eating less, and behaving very, I won't call it nasty, but very irregular way. So that's when you notice that your child needs some attention or some kind of a consultation with a doctor.
So as a parent, you feel that, when the child suddenly deprives himself from social life and stays away or is not behaving normal in day-to-day life, that's as a parent, that's when you feel that it's time to consult a therapist. So Nandini, what's your take on it as a clinical psychologist? What are the first kind of symptoms as parents they should observe that this is not just a bad phase or a bad mood or a bad day, it's a serious problem?
I think Mr. Harpreet has very rightly emphasized, he's hit the nail, that when we see sudden changes in the patterns of behavior of the children, for example, a child is very outgoing and suddenly the child becomes withdrawn and stays in the room, and there are eating disturbances, sleep disturbances, agitation, irritability. These are some of the initial warning signs, and when these symptoms stay for a long time, they stay for a longer duration. When I say long duration, at least a week, 2 weeks, 1 month, then it is important to understand that now it needs to be addressed, and the parent, maybe they need to sit down with the child and discuss it, and then maybe go for a professional help for the child.
So again, coming back to as a parent and as a therapist, my question is, what's the very first step that as a parent that you take, and as a therapist, what's the very first step parents should take to address this problem? Because I do not think the right way is to straight away take the child to a therapist or a doctor, or even taking to another relative or somebody for consultation. I think the most comfort they find is inside their home. So how do you break that ice as parents? How do you do that?
The first thing you do is you try and take time out and try and sit with your daughter or son, or perhaps your nephew or a niece, where you actually want to know and understand the issues he or she is facing. At times, kids are quite open. They come up with you straight and they tell these are the problems. Perhaps in the college, somebody's bullying them up, or perhaps something which they're feeling is they are deprived of, or something which they're not able to achieve. For example, they want to achieve 90% percentile and they're able to get only 80%.
Yeah, factors that are keeping their low self-esteem or somewhere it's not take their confidence.
Exactly. And at times kids are a little shy. They don't open up that quickly. You try to be more friendly with them, pally with them, you take them out for dinner. So at times what happens is you try and rope in your other members of the family. For example, your chachu, chachi, your grandparents, dadi, nani, and at times it really helps. They open up with them more than they open up with you.
Because always the kid is always somewhere more comfortable or highly attached or open up friendly to some of the relatives, can be the grandfather, grandmother, and uncle or anybody. Yeah.
And apart from that, also another option is to basically go to their teachers, because they at times tell the teachers the problems as well. And if this doesn't work, then the only hope is the therapist or somebody, a doctor who can really help them come out of the issues they're facing.
So Nandini, what's your take on this?
So I'll try to address it in a way that adolescence, it's a period where there's complete inner turmoil. This is a phase of transition, and the children, they don't know how to navigate their emotions, and there's a blast of emotions that they're going through.
Absolutely.
And many times adolescents, they feel we are misunderstood. No one understands me, whether it be my parents, my friends. So the fear of being judged, the fear of being laughed at, mocked, bullied, prevents them from sharing their problem. So yeah, they don't know their family is there, they don't know the friends are there, but still there are some issues which the concerned adolescent may not be able to talk to someone.
So what should parents do in that
So
situation?
parents, if the parents are able to see any warning signs, they should just sit and talk it out with the child and take the child to a professional. And because that's a complete non-judgmental, a new person, a strange person, where they feel more comfortable talking about, and it becomes easier for them to talk about their concerns. So
But we've also heard from parents that it is at the very first stage, it is very difficult for parents itself to approach the kid and talk about certain topics because they are themselves hesitant. Second, the child is hesitant because somewhere they feel that they would not want their classmates or their friends to know that they're having mental health issues and they're seeing a therapist, and so does the parents as well. So, how difficult, Mr. Harpreet, is it to convince a child to go to a therapist for help?
I think, like you always said, you always be a child to convince a child. So you try and tell them about your adolescence, the problem you faced, how you came out of it. Then they perhaps might relate to the similar problems they are facing, and they
Right.
might agree to go to the doctor to take the advice. And it's always a one visit which you request them. It's an hour session, 30 minutes. If you don't like it, you are at your free will. You don't force them. You just convince or coax them to be with you.
तो सिंस हम adolescents और उनकी mental health issues की बात कर रहे हैं, तो सबसे common challenges क्या देखे जाते हैं as a parent and as a therapist? आपको सबसे ज़्यादा mental health issues जो बच्चे आपके discuss करते हैं, parents discuss करते हैं, वो कैसे issues हैं? What are the most common issues?
from my experience, as well as if we go through a lot of studies and literature, emotional dysregulation is one of the most common issue, and then leading to other problems. Emotional dysregulation means the children don't know how to navigate or how to go about their emotions and how to manage and control the emotions. So they can be rage, they can be aggression, they can be a feeling of worthlessness, they can be feelings of sadness. These are some of the common concerns that adolescents come with, and loneliness, social withdrawal, and this may further take the picture of depression and anxiety. So these are some of the most common conditions that we see when we come across adolescents, as well as some personality issues because they're in a phase where they're developing their personality.
And how do you think as a parent it disturbs or the entire family setup or the entire family or it concerns the other members of the family?
So, जैसे कि आपने पूछा, उसमें सबसे बड़ी चीज़ जो आती है वो आता है उस बच्चे का बिहेवियर, उसका बात पे गुस्सा होना, उसका बात पे रूठ जाना, बात पे कमरा बंद कर लेना, दोस्तों के साथ नहीं मिलना, खाना नहीं खाना। तो वो बिहेवियर जो आपको दिखता है तो आप उससे बात करने की कोशिश करते हो, अंडरस्टैंड कि क्या प्रॉब्लम आ रही है, किधर आ रही है। सो जैसे मैंने पीछे बताया कि कभी कभी तो आपको रास्ता मिल जाता है, बच्चा खुद ही बता देता है कि मैं एक कंपटीशन फील करता हूँ, मेरे दोस्तों के पास ये है जो मेरे पास नहीं है। फिर आप उसको एक्सप्लेन करते हो कि उनके पास जो था किस वजह से था और क्यों है, आपके पास नहीं है तो क्यों नहीं है और क्यों नहीं होना चाहिए। वो आपकी बेटरमेंट के लिए है। जब आप समझाते हो तो बच्चा समझता भी है और फॉलो भी करता है।
But then there are kids जो नहीं समझते हैं, जो outrage करते हैं, and they start blaming the parents.
So in that case, the only option left is when you can make them realize and understand.
So what's that one piece of advice you would want to give to the parents and one piece of advice to the kids who are listening to this episode for the better, happy family life and a better mental health condition of kids?
Communication is the key, which we need to understand that there has to be, the barriers need to be broken, and there has to be a proper channel of communication between a parent and the child. To talk to a child, the parent has to become a child.
Correct.
So that is one very important thing, and at the same time, if the child is not able to talk about their concerns to the parents, instead of getting offended or feeling sad about it, parents should approach other family members, friends, or someone with any confidant with whom the child feels comfortable with. Because the aim here is that my child should be happy and positive and protected and achieve whatever is there for the child.
Right.
You should
So this
also
was-
be put yourself in a child's shoe when you do. You should always think that I am that age and this is how I'm going to be feeling if I'm thinking like this, and this is how he's feeling at the moment. So that really matters when you put put yourself in their shoe, and would you also make them understand that you will put yourself in our shoe, and then you take a decision for yourself. There shouldn't be any checklist like this is the school I want to send you in, pressure, this is the grades I want you to score, these are subjects I want you to choose, this is the career I want you to make. There should be independent freedom also for them to decide. Otherwise, what they become is actually what you want them to become, not what they actually want to
But
become.
I think that's the issue that a lot of parents, are surrendering to, and that's what they're doing. So this was an episode on this subject. It was a brief episode, but we will be taking these topics in detail with the parents and the expert in our next episode. Thank you for watching us, and in case your child or as a parent you're facing any issues, please write to us and we're happy to help. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Harpreet. Thank you, Nandini.
Thank you.